The Dacians had been messing with the nerves of the Roman emperors for 21 years. It all started with the unification around King Decebalus, who managed to stop tribal strife and unite them in the name of the great Dacian kingdom. He felt so confident that he dared to challenge the Roman Empire. There were grounds for this: a strong army, untold wealth from gold and silver mines, and a high general level of development. Under the Emperor Domitian, the Dacians gave the Romans a hard time, so he had to make a shameful peace. But the subsequent ruler, Ulpianus Trajan, was not going to put up with this situation. And if the Romans decided to do something, will do necessarily. Carthage must be destroyed, and quusque tandem abutere patientia nostra. The First Dacian War of 101-102 ended in a truce. Both sides were exhausted, but realized that a continuation was sure to follow. And so in 105 Trajan, with 12 legions, about 100,000 men, began a new campaign. Armies moved to the capital of the Dacians, Sarmizegetusa, 4 columns from different sides, and by the early summer of 106, they united under its walls. You cannot call this advance an easy walk. The terrain is mountainous. On the way, the Romans captured fortresses, the Dacians gathered guerrilla units, and legionnaires dragged over the mountains the whole set of siege equipment. Sarmizegetusa was surrounded by 15-meter stone walls with towers, and the first unprepared assaults with siege ladders failed. Then the legions waited for the artillery to arrive and took the matter seriously. The simultaneous construction of siege towers and assault embankments began, and these works took all the summer months. When almost everything was ready and the outcome of the siege became clear, Decebalus sent parliamentarians with a request for peace. But Trajan didn't want peace. He wanted the head of the Dacian king. In addition, the surrendered city, according to Roman custom, could not be plundered. The legionaries would not be happy. The Dacians were greatly grieved by the refusal. The nobles began to poison themselves, and the besieged set fire to the city. At night, Decebalus and his retinue escaped through an underground passage. He hoped to find help against the Romans in the neighbors, Sarmatian tribes. In the morning, the towers, supported by artillery and archers, were brought to the walls, and the defenders could offer little resistance. The city was captured and plundered, and tens of thousands of Dacians were captured. Later in Rome, 50,000 slaves from Dacia were sold. From the captives, Trajan learned that Decebalus hid his treasures at the bottom of the river under the walls of the fortress. The legionaries built a dam and diverted the current to the side, dug everything up, and found the king's stash. Gold and silver, there was so much that these funds were enough for large-scale construction work in Rome for several years. Mounted detachments were sent in all directions in pursuit of the fugitive king. One of them caught up with Decebalus in the Carpathian Mountains, approximately at the place where today the borders of Romania, Moldova, and Ukraine converge. There are 2 such points, but this is the southern one. It was not possible to capture Decebalus. Realizing the hopelessness of the situation, he cut his throat. His severed head was exhibited in Rome at the Gemonia,